Hi everyone. Hope you had a wonderful holiday and Easter I hope you had a nice Easter with your family, and if not, I hope you had a nice Easter solo. I had the pleasure of spending the day with my two grandchildren, and I think I mentioned before they're 7 and 8 years old, and I went out to dinner, or I'm sorry, brunch with my brother and his wife and my daughter and mother. So it was fun. We had a good time. So I hope you did as well. It's just a beautiful spring day, and um, just getting ready for the last couple weeks of our class together. So a couple of you have contacted me in regards to our next assignment that's coming up, and this is the 5 to 6 page paper in your as far as your next assignment. And what I want to mention is if you follow the rubric and you look up the criteria on the rubric and literally follow the rubric as far as highly developed, the criteria for highly developed paper, you're going to get an A on this paper because this is exactly how I'm going to be grading it. I'm going to be grading, and the rubric goes along when I'm actually looking at your paper. I'm looking at the criteria, so I have to. That's how I follow it along. So just be concise in your language. Be succinct, meaning don't make a point and give some evidence to that point, but go on to the next. Just be concise and succinct because you want to cover as much as you can in those 5 to 6 pages. It doesn't count your reference sheet, and it doesn't count your cover. So I'm going to repeat that again because last time I had papers turned in. I had some papers turned in that were that had the right amount of paper or sheets, and others were too much or too little. So make sure this is a 5 to 6 page paper, that's double spaced. So make sure that your double page. Usually the font is 12 font. That's typical APA formatting. So and follow the rubric. If that's the case, you're going to do fine. Okay. If again, run it through Grammarly as often as you can. I usually do it when I'm using Grammarly for even personal use now. I use it all the time. But I run it through, then I make my corrections, then I run it through again, make my corrections, run it through again. It just takes a minute to do it, and you're going to have, you'll see that your writing is going to get clearer. I'm not asking you to get 100% on Grammarly, okay, in the grading, because I know that's not realistic, because some of the things you see in there, a machine scoring does not allow for. I get that. Also, the plagiarism part, somebody asked me, well, if my plagiarism score is really high, doesn't it look like I'm copying? No, actually it doesn't. It means that you're using other people's words in your paper, and that's actually a good thing if you've cited all of your sources. So what I'm going to do is I look for a high plagiarism rate in a sense, because I want to make sure, but I want to make sure that you're citing all of those sources of other people's words, other authors' words. So don't panic if you go in and you have it shows you that you're plagiarizing. Just make sure when it shows you the place that you're plagiarizing that you have cited that author's words on what when you're saying it. Okay, and remember that has to do with anything you're saying that you may have gotten information from in your past too. You can't use other people's words in your paper unless you give them credit for it. Okay, I hope that clarifies it. 5 to 6 page paper, 12 font, double spaced, reference sheet, cover sheet do not count in your 5 to 6 page paper. And I will be following the rubrics very, very clearly and very carefully when I'm grading you. Okay, so they talk about writing style, mechanics, and then make sure you're giving examples of the things that you're stating. Okay, so make sure you use that. And then APA formatting counts because I've been going through that with you guys on your last paper. So let's see, the next thing is our last group project. It's really similar to the first one. Hopefully you're going a little more in depth. It's the same group, so you can't use the same project though, okay? So make sure you're changing the project, make sure you're it's a whole new project, a whole new issue that you're dealing with. Go a little more deep in, now that you've seen everyone else's projects, you could go a little deeper into what you present. We'll be doing it the same way. You're going to be posting your own project into Blackboard. So everybody still needs to post their own project into Blackboard. That's how I give you a grade. I grade directly out of Blackboard, and if you don't have a project in there, I can't grade you. Okay, so please make sure you have your project in your own Blackboard, and then one of you submit your project to me, and please list your name, somebody's name as the owner of the document, the name of the document. So let's say John Smith, and this would be issues in education. So list Smith, issues in education, as your project title. And the reason we're doing that is when I'm going through and we're having everybody present chronologically or however we set it up, that I know which project goes with which group. Okay, it's just going to make it easier. It's going to make it flow. Last time we had a couple people name their project name. They named issues in education. But that doesn't help me when I'm pulling up, when you're all naming your projects in issues in education. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you. I don't mean to confuse you. I'm just trying to keep a naming sequence to make it easier to pull on in Blackboard. That's all I have, and we'll talk to you next week. Or actually, well, we won't actually be face-to-face for a couple weeks, but please get your papers in, and if you have any questions about this at all, let me know. The papers are due on Sunday. They are due by 11:59. I can't make too many exceptions on this one because I have to have time to grade all of them, and that's it's no small task when everyone's writing 5 to 6 pages. So please make sure you get your paper in on time, or I have to unfortunately grade them one grade lower. So if they're late, that you will get, if you don't, we're going to get an A, you're going to get a B. You were getting an A plus, you'd get a B plus. That's just a policy of Concordia, and that's what I have to adhere to. Okay. Have a wonderful week. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.